Hi everyone, my name is Gary Bart, CEO of Steam Exchange. Welcome again to our bi-weekly AMA. Today's AMA is going to be a little bit more laid back than normal. Without further ado, let me introduce Neville. Neville, go ahead, sir.
Thanks, Gary. Hi everyone. Thank you for joining. Welcome to all the new members of our community, and welcome back to all of our existing SteamX family. For our operations update, I do like to bring new things every so often. So what we're going to talk about today is our ticketing tool. We did drop a little bit of it into the chat this week and last week, but I just want to explain a little bit more about how it works and how it's going to work for us as an organization, and in turn for you as our end users. So the ITSM ticketing tool has two kind of sides to it. It has an internal facing side for us to manage and track our own internal processes and incidents. And then, of course, the external facing side, which would be utilized mostly by you, the investors and the end users of our platform. You'll have a portal where you can submit your requests. That portal will be integrated into our platform, into our landing page. Anywhere you would use Steam Exchange tools or functions and features, the landing page will accommodate that portal. So some of the things, just an example of what that portal will do for you. Say for example, you need to update your KYC, reset your multi-factor authentication. So you'll be able to submit a request through the portal, and then our agents would be able to pick up those tickets and work with you to get through your problems and your issues. So it's coming together pretty nicely. Chris and I are working pretty hard on implementing all of the workflows, all the customizations, and all the functions that we need for it to be as robust as possible. And eventually this tool will be housed in our infrastructure silo, right? So this tool will be owned by Chris and his team to use and serve you as the end users. We should have a demo of the self-service portal that you'd be utilizing in either the next AMA or the one after that, just depending on how quickly we can get through some of the customizations and the workflows. So definitely stay tuned for that. HR and payroll, we introduced our tool that we were using for managing our payroll and our internal HR. So it's now been 2 full pay cycles and it's working beautifully. So that is now fully in production and it's utilized 100%. And the last piece for me is the job posting for the media content creator should be coming out this week or shortly after that. So stay tuned for that. And before I pass it to Anki, we do have exciting new partnership initiatives going on. Definitely out there as far as, has been done, but not like this. So with that, I'll pass it to Anki and thank you all for joining.
Thanks, Neville. Hey, SteamX family. I hope everyone is healthy and well. As Neville mentioned, we have been having a few exciting conversations, but let's start off with the marketing update, right? So across the last few months, we have indicated that our efforts will gradually switch direction towards being focused more on our platform. At the same time, we do intend to strike an overall balance. We've also noticed that across the last few months, there has been an increase in sort of compliance asks around the advertising space, around advertising activities globally, and across digital platforms as well. Now, this is a good thing in general. We support it, but it does come with its own sort of additional layer of time and gray tape to work around as well. So I want to use this marketing update to provide a concise sort of few developments on conversations that we've had across the last couple of weeks. So the first one is the CyberTech 2022 event. So for those of you who don't know, CyberTech is one of the largest global cyber industry conferences. It's a huge B2B networking platform. This year, it is organized and hosted in Israel with representation from delegations, enterprises, and governments across the world. So we are actually immensely proud to share that we will be attending this event as part of the Ontario Delegation. So this is a virtual event from March 1st to 3rd. Not a lot of organizations get this opportunity to be part of a provincial representation, but here we are as Steam Exchange, right? So we're honestly looking forward to this event. As mentioned, it does have a B2B focus. There are some large government representatives that will be attending. Our goal is to network extensively, right? So we want to connect with like-minded organizations, potentially explore new technology that we could incorporate in some manner. I just want to take a small pause here and ask you guys to think about what this actually means for Steam Exchange in general, right? We have been highlighting that our relationship with the Ministry of Ontario, their Economic Development and Advanced Technologies Division has been growing. This relationship has been growing from strength to strength, and we do see tremendous mutual benefit and value in this partnership, and are overall looking forward to it. So that's the first sort of major update is the CyberTech 2022 event. We have also, moving into the second bucket, we have also had our initial sort of exploratory conversations with CSB. CSB is Canadian Soccer Business. They are essentially responsible for all the marketing related to the Canada men, women, the Canada men's and women's national soccer team, as well as the Canadian Premier League, right? So this is particularly attractive as there's a wide range of teams covered in this bracket, as well as a diverse and inclusive audience. So there is much to talk through and explore here. Again, I do want to emphasize this is in the initial stages, the exploratory stages, but we are excited for this engagement here as well. When more details are furbished and when we're able, we will definitely share info around this. The third bucket we want to cover is we are also furthering talks with having advertising, a sort of real or video content placed in cinemas, have our messaging showcase prior to the start of a movie, for example. This is a specifically geo-targeted initiative for the UAE, Dubai in particular. Again, as highlighted earlier, we have seen an increase in the compliance sort of ask around this. So we're working with the media team in Dubai, as well as our legal team, just to walk through that, ensure we're all sort of, prepared, have everything checked, check the boxes. But essentially, this is another exciting initiative that we are working towards. And as I mentioned, this will be in the UAE. Our Rogers Sports and Media campaign, for the most part, is in place. We are currently finalizing the script for the radio campaign with the Rogers team and our legal team. We anticipate the first wave of radio ads going live towards the second half of Feb, that will have an extended duration for a couple of months. Also, the NBA All-Star game that we have secured, that would have national coverage as well. A quick update on our BSC scan ads, those are live. Coinzilla, Reddit, Facebook, all of those we're honing in on the targeting before conducting a larger push. We do plan on having a few more AMAs with other communities in the TG space as well, and continuing to push our sort of content push on YouTube. So expect a few media articles to be published in the upcoming week. Most recently, we were also one of the top 10 trending coins in the US on CoinGecko. I believe that statistic came across us yesterday, but I think we may actually still be on the list. This just goes to show that the interest around Steam Exchange has not ceased to exist, as we've been saying. I personally am excited for what is to come, for these partnerships and engagements to develop further. But on that note, that is all for now. Allow me to kindly pass it over to Gary for our updates on infrastructure.
Thank you kindly. So, infrastructure wise, we have a lot of things going on at once. Last week I did get sick, so there is one thing that will show you hopefully by, let's just say, this coming Friday, that has to do with the blockchain. So stay tuned, be excited for it. One thing I want to point out, let me just do this quick. If you look at the bottom of the page here, some of you might have noticed it, some of you might have not, some of you might see later as this is being recorded. And you take your name, for example, and add and put it in here. This will tag you in our main chat. This is what you might call as like second layer uh, of authentication, in a sense that if you have more than one chat that may or may not look the same, we know that scammers have been hard at work. This is something that every single project on our blockchain is going to be using, as well as we are looking to make this readily available to anyone who wants to use it. So if another project approaches us, we will gladly give them the code. because we're all about protecting our investors and society in general in terms of the crypto space here. How this works: type in your full Telegram username, hit the verify now button, and as you can see, if you guys are looking at it right now in the main chat, the verification bot that we have has tagged me. How this? Why is this good? You may already know this, but you can also click the Telegram link, and it will bring you to our chat. These scammers nowadays, they have gotten very good at what they do, and they are now capable of reproducing and copying the chat almost a one-to-one copy. And even if you click the Telegram link, it'll lead you to the right one. But then when you go out of it to see which ones you have to delete or which ones duplicates, it's still hard to somehow verify it or check it, if you know what I mean. And this, we feel, is a second layer of defense where, okay, in the fake chats, you will not be tagged, whereas only in the real one, you'll be tagged. And it should further help single out all the nonsense that there is out there. Again, this feature is what you might call version 1, and we will improve on it further. And just just a little sneak peek of how we are going to be doing things. This was going to be a more laid back MA, so we will go into questions rather quickly. Uh, as far as everything else is, most of the updates are proprietary in the sense that they are back end updates. They are code. We do have new things that came to mind that we had to backtrack on something for 2 weeks, and then we are separating it into two other separate independent mini projects, if you will, within this project because it's better. It's going to be a better implementation, and it's going to save a lot of users a lot of headache later down the road. So unfortunately, we don't have something much more visual that we would have liked to show you. And if I weren't to get sick, I would have something to show you now. But it's okay. I'll show you guys. Hopefully by next Friday, and if not, for sure by the next AMA. And it should give you a lot of a better understanding of where we're at and how we're progressing. Nevertheless, uh, we will always wait on legal. So even if everything was ready yesterday, we'd still have to wait on legal. So that's always something to keep in mind. We're currently in talks with all the bodies and all the legal departments that we need to be, and more than one country. And that's a timely process that, unfortunately, as we all know, I hate to say it, but COVID has affected a lot of things. This is one of them. There are many places in the world, including here in Canada, that are operating not exactly at capacity. So we're waiting to hear back on our next steps. As soon as more information comes to light from there, we will let everybody know. Why I mention it is because we keep getting the same questions in the chat, which is fine, but we keep getting the same questions in the chat. When's the migration? When's the date? Uh, I don't want to put out a date and lie. Neither does anybody else here. We don't want to commit to something that we're not 100%. Even if we're 99%, we don't want to commit to it unless we know 100% without any uncertainty that we are going to be able to say March 4th, March 5th, what have you. So that's where we're at there. I do believe that Chris is almost done the new updated website. I do know that they are implementing the latest code that we just implemented on the website. Chris, do you want to pitch in on this?
Yeah, that's definitely progressing accordingly. But the definitely the biggest portion is the new UI for the actual platform, which is currently undergoing just a little bit of rework. But we've the team has handled that pretty well in terms of fast tracking the schedule towards that. So that's looking good there. I did want to circle back around quickly on the blockchain, as you mentioned. We are extremely happy with the way that that's progressing overall in its totality, through the different phases. And I don't want to give too much, but Gary, you did touch on potentially showing something, even potentially for the next AMA. We can kind of take the community through that blockchain, by way of the actual blockchain explorer, and give everyone that visual to see that working. So we're definitely happy, with how everything is coming together. No shortage of work, and we're just trucking along. So heads down all around. And again, thank you all. I'm sorry if I sound a little bit hoarse. I'm just losing my voice here, but thank you all, for your continued support, and keeping to continue to help keep us honest. Right, it's very easy to get lost in the weeds, but by way of our great community that continues to back us and keep us open and honest, it keeps us all on our toes. So thank you guys 10 times over.
Thank you, Chris. So, guys, without further ado, let's just go ahead into the question period. I'll start unmuting people. You have questions, go ahead, raise your hand, and we'll let you ask them. Please bear in mind to be mindful that other people may have questions. If you do have multiple amount of questions, just keep it, and we will definitely circle back to you. Okay, Max, go ahead. Anybody? Anything doesn't have to be about particularly today's AMA, today's update, I should say. It could be just anything at all. Okay, so we have Dean. Dean, go ahead. Okay.
Hey
Any?
everyone, can you hear me okay now?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
I had a question about when it comes down to the swap. Is
The what? Sorry.
the swapping
Okay.
like for when the migration happens? I live in New York, so I don't really have a way to get B&B anymore. I'm like really excited about Team Exchange for that, and I was wondering if there's like a gas fee that's going to be attached to when we go on to the native coin.
The blockchain itself will have a fee, never, of course, but you're saying when you are swapping for that particular process, if
Yes.
there's a tax or gas fee, no. So that would be the initial point. At the initial point, there we won't charge you obviously to convert.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. Tiny Pop, sir, you are unmuted.
Yeah, hi everyone.
Hi, Tony.
My yeah, how was the day? How is your day? I don't know. My question is, you I mean, in the roadmap or in the discussion, you made mention that when we migrate to the coin, that our token now will be converted. So have you decided on the way it will be converted, what it will be converted to, as in the amount? I don't
So
know how to
the
put it
the
here.
the finite numbers, whether it's going to be reduced to 10 times or 5 times, it has not been decided yet. When
Okay.
there is more information, and we keep getting this question every day, which is fine, but when there is more information to give out, when there are finite numbers that we have settled on, when it's 100%, then everybody would be advised, and it would be known ahead of time. It won't be known last second. It would be known ahead of time.
All right.
We
Thank you.
literally give everyone all the information that we can give at any point of time, always. Once we settle on something, we give it out and we make it public.
All right. Thank you. I will.
No problem. Thank you for your question. Anybody else would like to have their question? I saw a hand up and then it just disappeared. Cryptomancer, go ahead. Cryptomancer 69, you had your hand up.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. So once the exchange is launched, how long will it be until all like your trading pairs start going up, and we'll be able to trade against trading pairs?
Okay, typically when you launch an exchange, you launch at least the basic ones. So I don't see us launching without having a few pairs up there for you guys to trade, unless
Do
it's solely for the purpose of maybe beginning the process of KYCing prior to like grand opening, if you will, just to make sure that the pressure is not there on the KYC team.
Okay, cool, excellent, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else, guys? Guys, anyone have a question maybe for Neville or Viraf or Chris? Okay,
Hey, Jerry, there's a
go
question in the
ahead
chat.
then.
I
Oh,
know
sorry,
we've.
I unmuted somebody. Can
Oh,
we
no worries.
give them the opportunity first?
Yeah, of course, of course. I
MC
can circle back.
and then Viraf, yeah. So just EMC. Go ahead.
Hi. My
Hi.
question is, how many
Yeah.
transactions per second will the blockchain be able to handle?
Good question. Very good question. We haven't finished doing the blockchain yet on an optimization, so we have not finished the math on that yet. It is there on the board. A
Okay,
very good
gotcha.
question.
Thank you.
You definitely won't feel any different than anyone that you already are using. Actually, might be even faster because keep in mind it's going to be like a newborn. It's fresh. There's nothing there other than the first one, which is ours, right? We do already have several people trying to get in. However, the documentation, as far as the criteria required, is not finalized. Therefore, we haven't sent that out to anyone yet. We do already have a few of them. One for sure that we want to already take on. But again, we haven't finalized the criteria, so we can't 100% point the finger and say, okay, these guys' project is going to be on our blockchain.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Vera, sir, go ahead. You were going to read one off the chat.
Right. I mean, this is something I know, Gary, that you just mentioned. But again, just for people who haven't heard our response, so someone in the chat mentioned, can you give us information on the launch? What is the exact date? If no set date, when are you anticipating on setting a date?
We're still anticipating Q1 at this point, late. Once we have again more precise information that we know without uncertainty and without doubt, we will definitely put out a date out there and make all information public. Anyone else would like to ask any questions, guys, for any one of us?
Yeah, I think Saudi Roy Will has something to ask. I think I saw his hand up earlier.
Wow, way to point someone out, Neville.
No, he said it in the chat. Me, please.
Oh, oh,
Just unmuted Saudi
okay,
Royal Will. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you guys.
okay, go
Thank you.
ahead.
Good morning from Saudi Arabia.
Good morning.
Uh, I have a couple of questions. Are you guys planning to list on different platforms? This is the first one. Second, have you guys considered Saudi citizenship in the KYC later on when the Steam Exchange platform are available? Thank you.
So, going back to your first question, to list our token, our coin, our native
Yes.
coin.
Yeah, is it gonna be on different platforms or just strict to Steam Exchange platform?
So we've looked into it and we agreed that currently we don't want to list our token, but the coin itself will likely be picked up by other exchanges as it is part of the blockchain. And in
Okay,
terms
and
of KYCing Saudis, our lawyers are working on several countries at this point in time.
as you know, I mean, Saudi Arabia and Egypt are the first, I mean, first and second and the biggest trading of cryptocurrencies in the Middle East. We're talking billions of dollars.
I'm well aware. I'm well aware.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Zoe, go ahead.
Hello, hi
Zoe.
everybody.
Hi, Zoe.
Hi. I just wanted to ask, has the coding for the blockchain started yet? I know you said that you
Oh
anticipate a
yes.
launch date. Okay. And then
Yeah,
what programming
definitely.
language are you guys using?
Several actually. I know that sounds kind of funny, but we're doing several. I'm gonna stick to several for now. I'm not gonna go into details on that because we have not decided which part we're doing and that we're releasing to the public in terms of. Um, so alpha is going to be finished hopefully within a week and a half to 2 weeks, and then we have not decided if we're going to be releasing the testing of that or of beta, and that might depend on a few things. So I don't want to put out information out there that's not going to be available. Good question. Day Day, go ahead.
Hey, sorry, man. I was just going to point out that Peanut in text chat actually had a good question, but I think you might have just answered part of it.
Okay. Uh, Viraf, do you want to pull that up? I'm going to keep the screen the way it is.
Sure. So, one second, let me just find it. Okay, this is what Peanut shared. Will there be an alpha/beta testing on the actual blockchain, or is it solely for the exchange? If so, what will it involve? It is currently known that some of the chains out there are struggling with congestion issues.
Correct. So there will be testing. We've not decided if we're going to put out the alpha. The beta will be put out for testing. Now, what part of it, again, has not been finalized in the sense that we are doing everything we said we would do, but we haven't settled on is this section available to the public or is this section available to the public, if you understand what I'm saying. Congestion, I do believe I covered it. It's fresh out the kitchen. There shouldn't be no congestion. All right. Oh, Diamond, go ahead.
Hey, I had a question about taxes and if that's going to be handled in any way, interactions or, I mean, usage with like a Coinly or applications like that, or your own version of tracking crypto transactions.
Can you elaborate, please?
Are you going to have like an API that Coinly could plug into to fetch transaction history?
So we will have an API. We're still working on what we're adding to it that's going to be accessible. Likely, what you have just said will be.
Okay.
As far as whether it's there right off the hop or not, I can't speak to that. We're sticking to what we said we'll do first before we add everything else. For the purpose of taxes, yes, of course, we are thinking in the back of our head, one button, download the entire history for the year, and like pie charts or whatever. We're all thinking about that already. But that is a minute feature that we want to add into it that will take quite some time to program. So it's on the sidelines as far as what's priority
in the backlog. Yep.
Well, it's not a backlog. It's going to be done. It's just a matter of timeline.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
But we'll keep in mind we need that for ourselves too, right? So.
Oh no, for sure. All right, makes sense.
Good, very good question. Thank you for that.
Thank-
Masterminded. Go ahead. Did I say that right? Masterminded?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought I was unmuted.
Oh, no
I
problem. Go ahead.
yeah, I just had a question. I know that you know, the physical locations are a big part of your business. Are you guys like have you passed the regulations in Canada to open your doors for that? And like what would be the timeline for
So
eventually?
regulations and physical location are two different things. Regulations are needed for operations in general. A
Right.
physical location, you can always have an office, whether you're open or not. You can still have an office. So the office is works with a realtor. We have submitted information, and we are waiting on paperwork. And like I said before, and I'll say it again, no problem. Our lawyers are hard at work.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thanks.
Unicorn, go ahead, Unicorn.
Hello. I had
Hi,
a
Unicorn.
question about the learning modules.
Absolutely, that's
Um,
probably best suited for Neville. Neville, sir.
okay. So I
Go
saw
ahead,
on the
Unicorn.
website that it mentioned gamified learning as well as other learning avenues. I was just wondering what the other avenues would be.
Absolutely, good question. So we're going to be doing the traditional online, right? So your typical, well, not so typical, but it's still going to be intuitive and immersive online learning. And then we're doing in-person learning at our physical locations if you're not the type of person to learn online. And then, of course, the gamified learning. So those are the other avenues that we're working with as far as education goes.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for that,
Thank you.
Neville. All right. Anyone else? If you guys think of something that you want to ask later, that's fine too. Again, as I mentioned before, I'm trying to finish by this coming weekend to show you guys something that has to do with the blockchain. I do believe that covers most of today's updates. I don't see anyone else with their hand up. Anybody? Is there, guys? Is there anything in the chat? Do you guys see any questions? No. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and conclude today's AMA. Again, we said that today's AMA is short, sweet, and sassy. To the point, I would say. Thank you guys for coming along. Thank you guys for joining us this lovely weekend. We hope to see you guys on the next one.